Hey, what's up everybody? This is Guillermo Auto. I'm doing front brakes on a 2008 Infiniti G37. This could also be used for a 09 and 010 with a similar setup. So first, you want to get the wheel off. It's a 21 millimeter, and also if you have a wheel lock, you're gonna have to use that to get it off. So we'll go ahead and get the wheel off. All right, so I got that off. Now you want to come over here, and you see it's held in by these pins. This little spring, I get the spring out. These little lock pins, there's like little cotter pins. We're gonna go ahead and get those out. I used a flathead here, and I just kind of got it in here and pushed it out. These come out. You want to pull these, you want to save these. We're gonna reuse these. If you lose them during the job, you definitely want to go get some more because they're important. They hold the pins in place. And then I got a little punch here and a hammer. You can get a punch from Harbor Freight if you don't have one for like, like 10 bucks or something. And you want to get these pins out, you got to hit it right through these holes. So I got my punch in here. I'm going to pop the pins out a little bit. And this is the way I do it. I mean, you might be able to get some pliers on those pins and pull them out. But I got a punch, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of tap on them. Punch them out the back a little bit. And then when they're popped out the back a little bit, I'm going to grab them with some pliers and just pull them out. So as you can see, they kind of popped out a little bit. And then now I could definitely get some pliers on them and pull them out. And the first one you could pull out, well, it'll be fine. But the second one you pull out, it's going to release the spring. So just be ready for it. The little spring clamp there. It's not a big deal. It might kind of fling off. It might just stay there. But yeah, you can pull that. Save all these pieces. We're going to reuse them. We need them. So don't throw any of these away. Keep these. So I got my flathead here. And if your pads are being stubborn and not wanting to come out with your fingers, you can just kind of pry on them like this. It's just like a little trick you could do. And just work the top and the bottom just back and forth, and then you can pull them out. It should be able to pull out without too much hassle. So go ahead and get both out. Go ahead and pull these out. Notice that first one had a little metal sensor on it. That's for when the pads get real low. So now we gotta get this caliper off because I'm gonna be resurfacing the rotors. So first I'm gonna take this 12 millimeter off right here. That'll just give a little looseness to the steel line. As you can see, it's a steel line, not like a regular caliper that has like a flex line where you can just kind of move it off. But this one, I'm gonna take that off just so I can have more flexibility, and then I'll be able to get to these caliper bracket bolts. These are 22 millimeters. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get that off. Like I said, at the 12 millimeter, I'm gonna go ahead and get that bolt out just to give me a little more flexibility with this line so it doesn't bend or kink or loosen up. And then I got my 22 here, and I got this rubber mallet, and the reason is because these caliper bolts are kind of in a tight spot. And what I do right here is I put this on, put the wrench on, and then I hold the wrench with a rag, and I tap the end of the wrench with this rubber mallet to break them loose. Let me show you what I mean here. So right here, I'm gonna hold it, and then I'm gonna hit it in the direction of loosening it, so then it'll come off. I mean, these ones are really tight. In a driveway or something, you'll know what I mean. I'll let you just watch and listen. You can actually hear when the bolts come loose. So when it got kind of high pitched, that's the bolts getting loose, and then they could just undo it. If you have another way, if you have some sockets that'll reach in there and you could break them free, good. So I got them loose, and now I'm just gonna use my ratchet to get them out. It's kind of in a tight spot. You'll know what I mean when you're doing it, but they're not impossible. So you just go ahead and get these out. Go ahead and get my bottom one here. All right, and again, these are 22 millimeters. So we'll get that out. Okay, I got my bottom one out. Now I'm going to support this caliper. So like I said, it's a steel line, so you don't want to flex that or bend it. So I got it supported so it doesn't really bend that or move it or anything. And so now I got to take this little 12 millimeter off here. I think this is just to guide the wheel when you put it on, but you could do this with it. Take that little spacer off and then put this back in. And then if your rotor won't come off, or it's it's stubborn, you could just screw this down and it'll pop the rotor off. I don't know if that's why they put it on there. I doubt it, but it's just something cool you could do. I mean, maybe they did, I don't know. But yeah, you just do that, and then the rotor will kind of pop loose, and then you can go ahead and get it out. Take it out. And if your rotor just comes right off, you don't really have to do with it. And if you're not machining rotors, you can skip this part. But yeah, so I'm going to machine my rotors. I also have a video on how to machine rotors if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, so I got that machined. Now I'm going to put this back on here. And now it's pretty much everything just going back together, guys. So I'm just going to kind of go through it here. I got my wire brush. I'm just going to go ahead and clean the tracks of this caliper real quick where the pads go. My caliper on, I got a new bolt for that because it kind of stripped out, so I had to run a new bolt in. I got my caliper bracket bolts in, the 22s. I got them as tight as I could possibly get them. They're right here and right there. And the whole time I was trying not to disturb that steel line as much as possible. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to spread the pistons out a little bit so I can make room for my pads. You can get this tool off tooltopia.com or your local store, your local auto parts store. This just pretty much compresses pistons on both sides at the same time. They have to be compressed at the same time. You could also put like a pad in there and kind of push on the pad to push both the pistons in. Just make sure you're doing both at the same time, or else if you do one or the other, it might pop out the piston and have brake fluid everywhere. It'd be a big mess. Also, you can put both pads in and then use needle nose pliers or pliers to push on both of them, you know, outwards. So just some like ideas you could use to push those pistons in. I got my pads here. I'm reusing my pads. If you are, notice that these little grooves in here, these got to be clean and free of dust. Or if your new pads come, there probably will be, but I'm going to use this little flathead just to scrape out all the dust in there. Those are to help the pad breathe, and when those get clogged up, they make noise and they make the rotors get hot. So if you're reusing your pads for any reason, just make sure those are cleaned out. And I also did a little scuff on them with some sandpaper to get them kind of fresh looking, you know, just so they seat better with the rotors. And then yeah, I got the ends of them lubed. So I got my pads in. Now it's gonna be these. I'm gonna clean these and put some lube on them, just like that. I just hit them with a wire brush, put some brake lube on them. And then these go in, but make sure you get your little spring clamp. Don't just put these in like that. They need their little clamp in like this thing. So put this on first and then run those pins through. So this goes here, and then you're gonna want to run those pins through, and it should look like this. Make sure they kind of run in between the little clamp and it's on top of the one part and below the other two little legs. And then I put my little cotter pins in to hold it in place. And then you could tap with a hammer on the ends of these pins just to make sure they go in all the way, and they're in there pretty sturdy. And then this guy, he just goes back in. You just snug him down with a 12 millimeter and double check everything. Also, guys, I'm going to use this 10 millimeter wrench just to make sure these little fittings didn't come loose. I've seen that happen before to guys when you're dealing with steel lines. So just double check those fittings on the metal steel brake line. Sometimes when you're moving it around, it'll kind of twist those loose. So just make sure that's tight. Make sure all your bolts are tight. You know, double check everything. Your pins are good. And that's it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Any additional info in the comments is appreciated. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next video.